Back again, and Game Week 32 could define the rest of the season. With the FA Cup deciding the blanks and doubles this weekend, the question is, do I wildcard in Game Week 32 for the bench boost in 33, or do I wait and wildcard in Game Week 35? Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so starting with my current Game Week 32 team, and I actually think it's set up really nicely. I've got all home fixtures apart from Haaland, which of course he's away from home playing Chelsea. Arsenal at home to Bournemouth, and Bournemouth are joint worst in the league for the expected goals conceded per 90. I believe it's 2.2 per 90 they concede. That's joint with Burnley. And so I've got the Arsenal triple up in defence. Whilst that doesn't really affect expected goals conceded, we do know that Timber and Gabriel are very good from set pieces, so there's always a chance that they could get a return there. And then you've got Virgil van Dijk at home to Fulham. We know Liverpool's troubles. They struggle to keep clean sheets. However, Virgil van Dijk at home to Fulham, there's always an opportunity there for a clean sheet. Bruno Fernandes and Mbeumo at home to Leeds. I'm potentially looking to move on Mbeumo, but right now with Leeds at home, it's just not the right time to do it. And again, I've got Bruno as the captain after his exploits in the last couple of game weeks. I see no reason to move the captaincy armband away from him. Then you've got Dango at home to Everton, hoping that benching versus Leeds was just to rest him. I cannot see why Keith Andrews would have dropped him. He got a man of the match performance against Wolves. He got the assist, could have scored as well, got the 3 bonus points. So it was really strange to see him coming off the bench, but hopefully it was just to rest him. Then Anderson, we know what he does. He picks up DEFCON contributions. He's a little bit more forward thinking now. He got 5 points in Game Week 31. So home to Villa. Villa's a tough fixture, but Nottingham Forest are at home, so you'd hope to get something there. And then in the forward lines, we've got the 3 up top. Haaland away to Chelsea. Difficult fixture, but Chelsea are struggling right now. Bowen, reason why I selected him, he's got Wolves at home. It's a really good fixture for West Ham. They need to win this game to stand a chance of staying up. Wolves at home represents a really good opportunity for Bowen to get a return. He's on set pieces, he takes penalties, he gets defensive contributions. Lots of avenues to get points. So I'm hoping the Bowen transfer pays dividends this game week. And then Thiago at home to Everton. I've got him as vice captain, but I'll probably move that at some point. So yeah, this team for me for Game Week 32 especially, I see no reason to change it. It just is a really good team. 10 players playing at home. When you're selecting your players for that fixture, you tend to prioritize players who are playing at home. And I don't even know if I've had this many players playing at home all season. So to potentially wildcard at this moment just seems wrong. Normally when you wildcard, you want to improve your team for that specific game week as well as future game weeks, and you tend to dead end your current team into the wildcard, and it just doesn't feel like I'm dead ending this team because of how good this team looks. And so I'd argue that this team is actually better than the wildcard draft that I've put together for this specific game week in Game Week 32. My only issues right now are the 2 Arsenal defenders. Gabriel and Timber have both been flagged. They've both pulled out of international duty. Timber for Netherlands and Gabriel for Brazil. They've both dropped out of the squads, then they won't be playing in the international break. I'm just hoping that is to do with how Arsenal are going for a lot of competitions. They've still got the Premier League to go for. They've got the FA Cup and they are in the Champions League. These international fixtures, are they really important to Timber and Gabriel? We know that these players are going to be on the plane to the World Cup. You wonder if they've just pulled out because they know they're going to be selected. They're probably one of the most important players for their respective teams. They know they're going to be on the plane. So pull out of these international duties because they don't really mean much. Get rested for what is going to be a really taxing end of the season with so many competitions to play in. I just think, that's the reason why they pulled out, and I'm hoping that they'll be fit and available for Game Week 32. Right, so now we're going to talk about how the FA Cup will impact the Game Week 33 doubles, what fixtures are being played, which will then have a knock-on effect to where doubles are played and where blanks will fall. And big shout out to Ben Crellin. Every year he maps out how the blanks and doubles are likely to fall, and it's massive for planning the most optimal chip strategy. So this is where everything kind of connects, because this FA Cup weekend basically decides what happens in Game Week 33 and 34. On the right, you've got the quarter-final fixtures, as well as Game Week 34 fixtures in the Premier League. And on the left, that's how it translates into blanks and doubles. The key thing here is simple really. If a team wins this weekend in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, they're blank in game week 34. That fixture in game week 34 then will get moved, and that's what creates the double. Now, if we go with the favourites for each FA Cup fixture to make it more simple, you'd expect Man City to beat Liverpool just because they're the informed team out of the two and Man City are playing at home, Chelsea to beat Port Vale, and Arsenal to get past Southampton. If that happens, all three go through and all three will blank in game week 34. But of course, it's not just going to be them who blank, it's going to be the opponents who they play in game week 34 as well. So as you can see, you're also losing Newcastle, who would have played Arsenal, Brighton, who would have played Chelsea, and potentially Burnley, who play Man City. So of course, that's a lot of teams effective, and that's exactly why I was hesitant on Newcastle players and didn't bring in Anthony Gordon and Malik Thiaw in game week 31, because I'm looking at something like a free hit in 33 and a wild card in 35, which means I have to use transfers in game week 34 to field an 11. And if I chose Newcastle players, that would add 2 additional players to the already triple up in Arsenal and Dubravka, who are likely to blank in game week 34. So in total, that would be 6 players that are blanking, which means I could potentially need 6 transfers to field 11 players, which I'm not going to have. So yeah, that's the reason why I didn't move for Anthony Gordon and Malik Thiaw in the end. I really wanted to keep my options open, whether to wildcard in 32 or wildcard in 35. And if I went down the Newcastle route in game week 31, I think I would have been forced to go for the wildcard 32. So yeah, what this table is really doing is mapping expected FA Cup results into future doubles, most likely in game week 33. Some might fall in game week 36. Now, from a strategy point of view, this is what makes the wildcard in game week 32 really good. You don't have to guess. We get the FA Cup results first, and then we see exactly who blanks in 34 and what doubles we'll get in 33. So if those fixtures go as expected, you're suddenly looking at City, Arsenal, Chelsea, all likely doubling, along with Brighton, Newcastle, and potentially Burnley as well. And then that will set up nicely for a bench boost in 33, where you could potentially have 15 players all doubling, and you can really maximize that bench boost. But the key thing in all of this is patience creates the opportunity. But we have to wait, get the information, then go off that. So with that in mind, this is the wildcard draft that I've built. The issue that I've got with it is that for game week 32 itself, it just doesn't feel as good as my current team. You got the double up in the Arsenal defence, Raya and Gabriel at home to Bournemouth, O'Reilly away to Chelsea, Van Heck away to Burnley, good fixture there. Rice at home to Bournemouth. I'm not sure about Rice anymore. I mean, when was the last time he returned? I prefer the triple up in Arsenal defence, but I just couldn't afford it. Enzo at home to Man City, another difficult fixture there. Bruno Fernandes at home to Leeds, someone that I already would have had. Gordon away to Crystal Palace. Haaland away to Chelsea. Welbeck away to Burnley, and João Pedro at home to Man City. So yeah, you've got 5 players playing away from home. Now, of course, Van Heck and Welbeck, they're playing Burnley away, so that's a really good fixture to target. However, O'Reilly, Haaland, Gordon, all away from home, difficult fixture. And then you've got Chelsea, who are at home, but they're playing Man City. So yeah, to me, it's not the greatest team to wildcard into, but it does set you up nicely for game week 33. As I mentioned, all these teams have got a double, which means all these players are going to play 2 games in game week 33. And if you bench boost into that, you're going to maximize your points in the bench boost. So yeah, there definitely is a benefit to doing the wildcard. It just doesn't feel great getting rid of my current game week 32 team, where I've said 10 players all playing at home with very good fixtures as well. When you look at the expected points, I've checked it on FPL team, and my current team has 56 points expected, whilst their wildcard team has 51. So again, this goes to prove my point about my game week 32 team looking better than the wildcard team. So that's really the dilemma. Do I sacrifice a really strong game week 32 for the upside of a potentially huge bench boost in game week 33? The chip strategy that I'm leaning towards at the moment is free hit 33, wildcard 35, bench boost in game week 36, where there'll be likely more doubles to a bench boost into, and hopefully that benefits me in the long run. Obviously, with the Timber and Gabriel flags, I really have to wait until press conferences are played out. Arteta confirms that both players are fit, because I really don't want to make transfers because of that blank game week 34. I'm going to need all my transfers to make sure that I field 11 players in game week 34. before our wildcard in game week 35. And yeah, that's it for this video. As I mentioned, don't make any changes until the FA Cup fixtures have all played out and the doubles are then confirmed. You can then target those game week 33 doubles and really field a strong team to maximize your points. But you just have to be patient and wait for those FA Cup fixtures to play out. What are your thoughts on my game week 32 team versus the game week 32 wildcard draft? Drop a comment below. If this video helped, like, comment and subscribe. As always, thank you for watching. Green arrows and enjoy the football.